Good evening. I'm Karen Lawrence, president of the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens, and I'm delighted to welcome you here. Our guest of honor tonight, as you all know, is Darren Walker, president of the Ford Foundation. Please now help me welcome Darren Walker.
Thank you for welcoming me to this magical place. You didn't tell me or prepare me for the quantity, the quality, the intensity of this place.
You will love him for other reasons besides what he just said. So let me begin with some questions. You've called hopelessness the great threat of our time, along with climate change, and said that without hope, democracy cannot flourish. Tell us more about how the arts and other creative expression can foster that sense of hope.
Hope is the oxygen of democracy. For me, as a poor kid living in a rural part of America in a little shotgun house, I was given a license to dream. And I was hopeful that my aspirations could be realized. Hope is very important. The arts and the humanities correlates with hope, and the arts makes us better and demands more of us.
Let's talk about the real inequalities that you write so much about, and institutional aspects of that. What has and hasn't changed about that great disparity? You've talked about, though, your own situation where you did go from being the 1% at the bottom to running a $16 billion foundation, and part of the 1%.
Martin Luther King in 1968 wrote the following about philanthropy. Philanthropy is commendable, but it should not allow the philanthropist to overlook the economic injustice which makes philanthropy necessary. My point is simply that we who are the beneficiaries of the system need to help redesign it so that it produces more shared prosperity.
There's an evolution in institutions, historic institutions. We talked about this with the Huntington and with the Ford Foundation. I'm going to show two paintings, something that we share.
I will speak about the Ford's Kahindi, but I want to really just commend you. I mean, as someone who loves British paintings, you've got all these pictures in one room. But the brilliance, and this is where curatorial genius, vision comes, that you could see the dialogue between Gainsborough, Blue Boy, and Kahindi's Boy. This Kahindi, Wiley, our Kahindi, which is of a woman, Wanda Critchlow, who, as is often the case, Kahindi met on the streets of Brooklyn, and he was inspired by a 17th century Dutch painting of some Dutch royalty, some duchess, and he has taken Wanda, and from Bed-Stuy, and she is this Dutch. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's a very large picture that's in our lobby,
right?
And it's massive, and I mean, in its scale, it's massive, and people love it. They're so inspired by it, and when people come, they see something they probably don't see. They see themselves, but they also see historical reference, and they see the arc of art history. So it is not about rejecting the art. It is not about demonizing or deconstructing. It's about
evolving the canon and seeing what we can now see for the first time.
We're taking questions both from the live stream
Yes.
and from
And I
our
have
audience.
many more
Oh my
that we
God.
can ask today.
We're going to give these to you to take home on the plane.
I'm
and
happy
you
to,
you have to
listen,
answer
I've
them.
got all night. I've just got
I'll
a
just
red
ask a
eye or
few.
something
Yes,
later.
Okay.
just ask a few.
We have cultural leaders, philanthropists, scholars, museum practitioners, and more in the audience. What is your call to action for us?
We have to be hopeful. Do you know, Langston Hughes,
I was just gonna say
my
the poem.
favorite,
Yeah.
great American patriotic poet, wrote in 1932 a poem called Let America Be America Again. And in the first stanza, he says, let America be America again. America never was America to me. And he was expressing his rage that with all of his talent, with all of his capacity, and his hopes and dreams, that America still saw him as a black man with limited capability. But he ends the last stanza with,
Yeah.
but oh yes, someday America will be. He knew that in his lifetime, he would never realize that. And yet his admonition, his directive to people like me was, you better be hopeful and you better get to work, because there is an urgency to help save this country and allow America to be America. For some of us, for the first time. And so that's the work